Hello, I'm Simon.
And I'm Dan.
And this is the Wikicast, a podcast where Wikipedia takes us to a random article each week and we talk about what we find. Dan, what are we talking about this week?
This week, Simon, and I can't quite believe it, we are talking about note-taking.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. Thank you, Wikipedia, for truly delivering.
Here come damn study tubers.
Here we go.
Right, hit me with it, Dan. What is note-taking?
Simon, I'm so glad you've asked. It's note-taking, sometimes written as note-taking with no hyphen, or note-taking as two separate words, is the practice of recording information captured from another source. By taking notes, the writer records the essence of the information, freeing their mind from having to recall everything. Notes are usually commonly drawn from a transient source, such as an oral discussion at a meeting
Wikipedia,
or a lecture.
You've done it again.
Jesus. Note-taking is a form of self-discipline.
Oh?
That's how they end the introduction.
Okay, quite a zen way of describing it.
Yeah.
Okay, right. So this is a whole. How big is this article?
It's bigger than you'd think.
I've heard. Right. Okay.
I know.
Sure. How
Yes.
many sections are we talking?
Look, we're talking, including references and external links. There's 11 points, and point 5.
What?
Point 4 has a 4.1, and 5 goes up to 5.5.
Oh my God! Was this written by Ruby Granger? Okay. Right.
It's crazy.
Hit me with it then, Dan. What? How is it even possible to write this much on note taking? You write down. It's not hard.
Well, I think we should probably start with a bit of history. The history of note-taking.
It's ancient Greece. You see stars fill up the sky.
It is ancient Greece.
Are you?
No, of course it's ancient Greece. Note-taking has been an important part of the human history and scientific development. The ancient Greeks developed hypomnema, I think it's hypomnema, personal records on important subjects. In the Renaissance and early modern period, students learned to take notes in schools, oftentimes producing beautiful volumes that served as reference works after they'd finished their studies.
This is literally like a Troy McClure infomercial, film in The Simpsons that gets rolled out.
In pre-digital times, there were many kinds of notebooks used by adults, some of which included accounting waste books, marginalia, and commonplace books.
Hi, I'm Troy McClure.
Hi,
you may remember me from such titles as Dial P for Pencil and Murder She Note Took.
Now it's time to go to the killing floor. Come to the killing floor, Jimmy.
It's not as bad as you might think. It's more of a grill.
Philosopher John Locke developed an indexing system which served as a model for commonplace books. For example, it inspired another book, Bell's Commonplace Book, formed generally upon the principles recommended and practiced by Mr. John Locke nearly a century later.
Can you do a favour for me? Can you Control F and see how many times the word highlighter is used in this article?
Highlighter. None.
What? How can there be a thing about note-taking without highlighting? That's a key component.
Nope. Not here, it's not.
Unbelievable. Okay, right. So after the history, this is that rare article, Dan, where we actually just get sucked up into actually talking about it. But after the history, what comes next?
Well, as you would have guessed, Simon, next comes cognitive psychology.
Of course. Sorry, silly me.
Note-taking is a central aspect of a complex human behaviour related to information management involving a range of underlying mental processes and their interactions with other cognitive functions. The person taking notes must acquire and filter the incoming sources, organise and restructure existing knowledge structures, comprehend and write down their explanation of the information, and ultimately store and integrate the freshly processed material. The result is a knowledge representation and a memory storage. Studies comparing the performance of students who took handwritten notes to students who typed their notes found that students who took handwritten notes performed better on examinations, hypothetically due to the deeper processing of learned material through selective rephrasing instead of word-for-word transcription, which is common when typing notes.
I think the entire right hemisphere of my brain just conked out.
Yeah.
This is the driest, most unnecessarily detailed Wikipedia article we've ever had.
If you think that's dry, In the next, so two subsections down, there's a paragraph on linear note taking. There is then a subheading titled outlining. The first,
right?
It gives you an example of what outlining is, and as an example, you've got a capital, like you've got 1 point, first main topic, then like a carriage return. A subtopic, carriage return. 1 detail, 2 detail, 3 detail. B subtopic. It's incredible.
You know who wrote this? This is Annie Edison from Community. There's somewhere out there's a real Annie Edison, and they're editing Wikipedia, everybody. I can think of nobody else, apart from maybe Leslie Knope, who would write something like this. Why does this need to exist? Is there anything in this article that grabs you, Dan? Is there anything that speaks to you? Because you must have done your fair share of note-taking in your time.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a particular method of note-taking called the Cornell method. Have you heard of this?
I have actually heard of this, yeah. I hate to admit.
It mentions it. It also seems pretty dreary and dull, but that's the only thing that's leaped out of me, possibly because it's the only subheading that's hyperlinked and therefore it's blue.
Oh, I see. Right.
That's it, really. Otherwise, I think this might win. This could be more boring than that. What are some of the choice Wikicast boring articles we've had?
But the thing is, they have to be long and not just short. You know, they're not boring just because they're short, right? Like the Beijing Go On season was very boring because there was nothing. But I mean, in terms of
list of highways number 221.
Yes, that's got to be up. We did
the
get
recession
a
of 1949
on Mars.
Yes,
oh yeah, well the let's not even get into the recession episode. Taha dragged us.
We're forgetting episode 16.
What was episode 16?
The history of rail transport in Mozambique.
Mozambique! Oh, the all-time... I think this may have pipped it, though, Dan.
Which was the week after Eudoxus.
Which was... the crater on... It was Mars, wasn't it?
Yeah, Martian crater, yeah.
Oh, wow. Ladies and gentlemen of the readership, we are truly, truly bringing high-quality content to your ear holes right now. Look, this is the stuff that you support us on Patreon for. This is the stuff that gets us out of bed, makes us record this podcast, because we just wanted to learn about human knowledge. I mean, the whole idea behind this podcast was just like, we wanted talking points, didn't we? We wanted Wikipedia to generate a talking point that we could just latch onto. And it became a whole extra thing. We went from like 20-minute episodes nearly 2 years ago. We are coming very close to our 2-year anniversary, it has been pointed out to me.
It's incredible.
And, it was 20 minutes, and then since then it's taken the religion of the readership. Clark-Catholicism and the Church of Mormon have really taken off. But at the end of the day, it is still based on a random seed, a random chance of what we're going to talk about. And we've had some bangers, but at the same time, sometimes we get stuff like this.
Yeah.
So you take the good with the bad,
You do. Swings and roundabouts.
So when you did note-taking at uni, did you have like a particular technique that you used to follow? Because I definitely did when I did my uni level notes.
I know that I would be obsessive over it being really, really neat and colour-coded. That was part of what made the note-taking fun for me. I needed to find something that I could effectively, like almost like pseudo-procrastination. I'd be like, I think of this subheading's going to be green because we're doing, But otherwise, no, just kind of like a neatness and a nice kind of orderly layout on the page. And I'd always make sure that whatever I was writing down, obviously, was in my own words rather than just kind of splurging word for word what I was either hearing or reading at the time.
I mean, like I remember when I did I peaked when I got to third year at university, and I used for my revision notes exactly the same type of pen and exactly the same color coding and underlining sequence for every set of notes. It was all like a big consistent textbook, and it was the heading of the whole module, the whole unit would be double underlined in red, and then the each main section would be double underlined in blue, and then a subsection heading would be single underlined in blue, and a subsection headline would be underlined singly in red. And it was always like the same formatting for everything. Like I made those notebooks like a goddamn work of art, if I may say so myself. They were my best ever notes. So I can get behind the idea of, really investing time in note-taking, but possibly not to the level of Miss Edison, whoever wrote this article.
Oh, here's an interesting thing. What would you guess? When you go to a Wikipedia article and you usually have some kind of image in the top right-hand corner?
Yeah.
What would you guess that image is for note-taking?
Note-taking. Is it...
Given how general, bearing it as a clue, given how... or maybe a bluff, how general this article is.
Is it like an abstract cartoon of a notepad with a pencil writing lines on it?
You couldn't be more wrong.
Is it a real-life picture of a pencil with a notepad drawing curly lines on the pencil?
Again, it's not specific enough, I'm afraid.
Oh my god. Is it a photo or is it abstract?
It is a photo, or it's like a scan.
Oh, is it like someone's revision notes? Is it something? It
is someone's notes.
Is it someone's notes version of the article?
No, but that would be brilliant.
We need to do that. We need to replace that photo. Somebody do this, please. Somebody take a set of notes beautifully, then scan that and set it as the article. Including, in the little top right where there's a picture, including a little sketch of your scan. Mm-hmm. Somebody's got to do this, please.
Be incredible.
I don't know then. I don't know.
I'm going to put you out of your misery and I'm going to tell you. You ready? Mm-hmm. It is President Jimmy Carter's notes from his private meeting with Pope John Paul II, October 6th, 1979. Amazing. You would never in a million years guess that.
Why?
Not a clue. Absolutely no idea. I think that has made this page worthwhile.
Oh my god!
It's also taken me that long to realise. I suddenly looked at it and went, "Hang on a minute.
That's not any set of notes. That's Jimmy Carter's handwriting."
Yeah, it's bizarre.
Oh wow, that's really something. Holy smokes, Dan! You pulled it out the bag with this one yet again. The Church of Mormon has delivered. Incredible.
I'm just going to read you some of the notes he's made.
Oh, go on. Let's get an insight into the mind of the president.
This is page 7 of the notes. Or it could be page 1. I think it's page 7.
Good stuff.
He writes in kind of shorthand, so it's kind of hard to get a... But the first thing says, meeting with Pope. Good start, Jimmy.
Great start. Great. Okay.
Prefer to be alone. Difficulty in understanding English. 2 months per year in country retreat. Difficulty in remembering humility and simplicity of Christ. China, Venice. I can't read what the rest says. Then it says Philippines, majority. Americas, most Christian. With Europe, secularism. Need to key US, Europe.
I don't think... whatever technique that Jimmy Carter is using here is totally opaque to anybody other than Jimmy Carter. I have no clue what this all means.
There you are. I feel lonely. Not...
Oh, imagine how spooky it would be. Imagine how spooky it would be if you suddenly start reading out and it goes, help, Daniel, more, help, I'm so lonely, so
what
cold.
It would be, no, and it would be like, they've taken the thingies and the second hall. We cannot get out. Gimli, no. They are coming.
You fool of a Moor.
Yeah. Throw yourself in nuts next time and rid us of your stupidity.
Pope John Paul II.
Well, there we go, everyone. That's note-taking. I'm not going to read any more of this article because it is dull as sin.
Speaking of needing God.
And this will be my piece of the week. Drum roll, please.
Oh, what a segue. What a segue. He's a professional. What is your choral piece of the week?
Well, my choral piece of the week one, it's going to be an easy choice because I'm singing it tomorrow and I'm so excited. I'm sweating right now and will be until Evensong tomorrow. It's a piece by Kenneth Layton.
Oh.
It's a set of canticles.
Oh.
It's only as bloody Col Collegium Magdalene. What a tune. It's brilliant. It's an absolutely excellent piece of music. It will be added to the playlist, so listeners can have a listen, but I'm singing that tomorrow, and you'll never guess, Simon, what the accompanying anthem is for Evensong tomorrow.
To go with those canticles?
Yeah.
Drop Slow Tears?
No, it's a different composer, but it's equally banging.
Is it a Wesley? Or is it an Exeter
It's
special?
not, but that's it's a good suggestion. You're on the right track. Think Bairstow.
Oh, I shat brown under his shadow.
Let all mortal flesh.
Oh, the other one that everybody knows. Oh, banging tunes,
Absolutely.
tunes. Which of the Cole Mac? Do you prefer the Magnificat or the Nunc? Because bear in mind in your answer that the Nunc has the tweest moment, like the campus.
To the Father, and to the Son. Yeah. I think I would have to say I enjoy the Magnificat more because it's just so yeety, to give it a technical musical term.
Yeah, lots of Schwarzendos in it. Like you really like. You dial it back and then you come surging back at the end of a phrase. It's such a good piece. That's going to be in my head now.
That's then also being followed by the Longley Messe Solennelle on Sunday morning.
It's not as good as the Vienne, but it is a banger.
It is a banger.
Tell you what, Pixel Girl was singing the other day. She was singing just randomly. I think it's Dyson in D. The one where the Gloria kicks in with the sopranos. That is the
no, that's Howells. That's Howells.
Is that the Colreg?
That's Colreg, I think, or St Paul's.
No, I think it is Colreg. I think you're right. Glory be to the Father.
Yeah, that's Colreg.
I'll pop that if that isn't already on the playlist. You've got to put that in as well.
Absolutely,
because that's an all-time banger. Howells, bless him.
And it can be plugged because King's College Cambridge have recently released a new album this week.
Oh, topical!
And it includes the Magnificat from Howells Colreg orchestrated.
Oh, is it on Spotify?
It's awesome. Yeah, it is. It's called Howells Cello Concerto and an English Mass, and it's also got the Colreg Te Deum.
Oh, well, I'm going to be listening to this later. That's amazing.
It is epic.
Are you getting FOMO, by the way? Because obviously, this is probably the appropriate corner to talk about this. Obviously, Exeter University Chapel Choir are currently on their annual tour.
They are, yeah. It's weird. It does feel weird.
This is the first one that you've not been on, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
They've gone to Germany.
It feels very strange. The choral scholars did. So Michael used to put together a small group of folk. In fact, they were featured. It was featured in the vlogs a couple of times, many moons ago. St Martin's, the little St Martin's concerts we do, which feature some really brilliant you and me questioning Michael's rubbish that he churns out every week.
Thank you for the lovely weather today. We'd just be like,
we both in unison just slowly turn our heads, going, "What the f*** are you on about?" So the choral scholars of Exeter Cathedral did it this Monday in situ of the chapel choir, and it was brilliant. Hamish, the organ scholar, conducted, and he did his own little spiel and things. And we sold more CDs than we normally do, bearing in mind it's the chapel choirs on the CD, not us. It's really weird. We made like 70 something quid.
Wow,
like, that's quite good.
Well done, us, not the chapel choir, because it was us that sold those CDs.
Yeah.
Oh wow. But yeah, no, I'm getting massive FOMO because they are going to the same places that they went on my first chapel choir tour to Germany.
Yes,
whereas you didn't go to Germany, did you?
No, that was before me.
So yeah, I'm seeing they're going to the same places. They went to the Bum Angel, which was a restaurant that we went to. It's not actually called the Bum Angel. I think it's called the Burn Engel or something like that. But it looks like Bum Angel. Yeah. And the same churches, and oh god, I miss it, Dan. I miss the singing so much.
It does feel weird not being there. That's for sure.
Gonna have to get used to it, mate. This is it.
Yeah.
You're out now.
Yeah.
You're too old. You're old and haggard and done.
Yeah. Sad times. Sad times.
Well, if we're gonna be critical about things, including our age, we should probably take this over to the next corner.
Oh, nice.
Well done. There are a few things that we could talk about here, apart from complaining about getting old and our ages. So I have been getting back into reading recently. I had some time away, and I don't know if you do this as well. I presume in the nature of your degree, mate, I suppose you couldn't, but like I just fell out of reading for several months, and at the start of this year, I was smashing books out. I was like, get 5 books read this year already, and then I just took several months off. And it's only been the past couple of days that I've really gotten back into it, and I have been devouring Homo Deus by Yuval Noah Harari. So this is the sequel to Sapiens.
Oh, yeah. See, I know. I haven't read this.
It's interesting. It's not as good as Sapiens, I'll say that, but it's a different book. For those of you who don't know, I'll include a link in the show notes. I did a book review of *Sapiens*, which is kind of like a sweeping history of all of humanity, and it's one of my favorite books. I think it
is a brilliant book.
It's stonking. It's like the analogy that I had at the time was it's like being led to the top of a very tall tower, having spent your entire life on the ground, and suddenly seeing the landscape. And how the lay of the land, and you were just too close to the ground, and you were blinded by the trees to see where everything sat in relation to everything else. And Homo Deus does a lot of the same things, and it specifically looks at comparing religions, and by religions it basically means any ethical system. So that includes proto-religions and spiritualist and animalist beliefs, but then also going into, for example, the first religions in Sumeria and whatnot, morphing into Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, but then also counting humanism which as a religion, and that is basically the world's dominant religion at the moment. And looking at how that has evolved and how that is going to evolve in the future with the coming of technology that basically renders humans obsolete. And it is a fascinating book. I've really, really enjoyed reading it. And I think I've enjoyed reading it because I enjoyed *Sapiens*. And if you enjoyed *Sapiens*, I'd recommend giving this one a read. I will be doing a book review of this in more detail. But I also enjoyed it because I read *The Master Algorithm* by Pedro Domingos, which is what it says on the tin, really. It's about machine learning. And that's a massive part of this book, and like where Yuval Noah Harari thinks we're going to go in the future. I think it's a little bit light on the details. It definitely skims over stuff. It's not as comprehensive and just skips over stuff in a bit too laissez-faire kind of way compared to *Sapiens*. I will say that, but it is very good. So yeah, if you enjoyed *Sapiens*, I'd recommend giving it a go. It's worth checking out at the library. You know.
I shall.
What have you been reading? Have you done any reading since you finished your degree?
Yeah, I've been reading. Well, I've now finished *Fatherland*. So I need to pick up the sequel to that. I mentioned that a while ago, and that's been pretty jolly. I'm yet to read, because he's been away. My housemate James got back today he had a little stint in Croatia. He has now finished *Good Omens*, so I'd like to read that, and having seen the series, to see how the book stands up. I've also been meaning to. It's been sitting on my shelf for ages. Stephen Fry's *Mythos*.
Oh, I've heard the name. But what's it about?
It's basically him retelling a selection of classic myths in his own way, in his own kind of manner. But he does that quite well. To be honest, I haven't really been reading since finishing *Fatherland*. I haven't read a great deal. I've been devouring podcasts at a rate of knots, and I've also, having been on about a 2-month break from listening to the Harry Potter audiobooks on repeat, I'm now back. I'm back with a vengeance with that. So
for the 50th repeat of all the Harry Potter books.
It's crazy. It's mad. I'm on the Philosopher's Stone, and it's just really nice, and I find it very soothing, and I can not only get all the words, but match Stephen Fry's intonation. I know it that well, which is really embarrassing, but it's cool. I like it.
You're passionate about something, Dan, and as we talked about in a very early episode of this show, you should never be ashamed to be enthusiastic about something, you know?
Absolutely.
You do you.
I shall. I plan to.
Repeatedly whilst listening to Stephen Fry.
Yes.
But I mean, yeah, because it's one of those things that you did a degree that you had to do so much reading for.
Yes.
You didn't want to really do any reading on the side because you had your
film.
Not
really, yeah. I would get excited about very niche things. So I don't know if you can remember, this is when you lived with me. One day, I remember doing a tweet. It was when I'd received the hardback book, like written script version of The Cursed Child.
Yes. Yeah. I remember opening my door. The postman was there, and I was standing there in my pajamas with hair all over the place because I'd only been up for about half an hour. And he must have been doing a round of people, a series of deliveries for this particular book. And he just looked at me and said, "Parcel for you, Harry." And I went, "Oh, thanks," and took it, and then devoured it within about 2 hours. I just sat on the sofa and went, "Right, here we go." I'm about to get myself disappointed so hard.
Well, yeah.
In retrospect,
but otherwise there hasn't been, with the exception of kind of things that I might take a book on holiday at Christmas or something, and then I read that I Saw Eternity the other night, I remember talking about that a while ago, which is that one about the English choral tradition with specific reference to King's College, Cambridge, which is really interesting. If you have any interest in choral music, I think you especially, you should absolutely read it. I think you'd find it really interesting.
Yeah, I've had that recommended, and I've had "Oh Sing Unto the Lord" recommended.
Yes, that's meant to be very good as well.
Premise. So, okay, yeah, I'll have to get on it. I mean, I was thinking when I was reading, because I was talking I was on a trip today. It's been a very long day today, Dan. I got up at 6 to go on a filming trip, which I can talk about because it will probably be released when this comes out. Anyway, who cares? With Robo Race, so I went to have a look at these self-driving cars, and they were on a racetrack doing a hill climb today. And I was talking to the producer who was working with me on the train, and we just had a really, really long, lovely chat. Hey, Nibras, if you're listening, on the train about books. And I was like, I don't really remember the last time I read fiction, and I really love reading fiction. I just haven't dedicated any time to it. So I really want to get back into the habit that I had before of having like one non-fiction book and then one fiction book on the go at the same time. So depending on your mood, you can, alternate. But yeah, I want to get back into reading fiction. It's been so long since I've had just read a good story.
It's a special thing.
Especially seeing as I've been spoiled by watching Star Trek. I just finished the Best of Both Worlds, which is the legendary episode where Captain Picard gets assimilated by the Borg. Oh, right. And I was like, oh, this is so good. This is such a good story. It's like better than it's a 2-part episode, and it's better than some movies. Like, it's better than a lot of movies that I've watched. And I was just like, oh, stories, man. Stories. Yeah. Sick. So yes, if people can we ask for that? Can we ask for a correspondence in this section? Can we just say, if you've read a really good story recently, hit us up. Send us an email, spongeelectric@gmail.com. I'd be interested in some I've got like 70 recommendations in my Goodreads. I think the top thing is Asimov, but I'm open to new suggestions. Is there anything else that you'd like to criticize, or should we move on?
Not really. It's been a kind of quiet one. I mean, I've been watching some driving videos because I had my second lesson this morning.
What is it? What were you watching in the videos? What were you trying to get help with?
It wasn't so much getting help, but it was comparing how other driving teachers explain things compared to my own teacher.
I see.
Which is no reflection on him. Like, he's fantastic. He's really, really brilliant. But it's just things kind of like talking about how, really, for me, it's remembering the order of things and when to do what in what circumstance. Like remembering, like, this is the routine that I have from sitting in a stationary car and the car is turned off. What do I do to turn this car on and start moving and pulling out into the road? What's the step list of things?
And like you say, it's not going to be a reflection on your teacher. It's just that if you get the same information several times over, you're more likely to retain that information in different ways.
For sure. So I had a 2-hour lesson this morning. I wasn't in a car park. I was in a kind of a residential area. So I had more old ladies to hit, basically, which it increases your score multiplier by 2 every one you hit. So unfortunately, I didn't hit anybody today, but that's always next week. But
you'll beat
really
that
fun.
High score. I know you're going to beat your high score.
I did some 3-point turn things. And I got up to 3rd gear. Woohoo! Which is pretty exciting. Devil. I'm yet to go over 45 miles an hour, which is good given that I'm in a residential zone, obviously. But it was really fun. He's a really nice guy. He's very calm. He's very soothing. I think he'd be perfect for ASMR. He's got that kind of a voice. It's really nice. And he's a musician, and we just had a kind of a nice chat. But 2-hour lessons are good because you can really kind of put into practice. When you start, like, I hadn't really done a great deal. And by the end of it, I was like, I've really achieved a lot today. So I think next week, we're actually going to be going out on the road proper to do junctions and things and crossings.
So this is lovely. This is wholesome critics corner. You've just been criticising your driving instructor and come to the conclusion that he's great.
He's a lovely man.
See, we can do this nicely, people. We can be nice. We just often choose to be bastards. Top lad.
So you guys, you all know the drill by now. It's that time of the podcast where we say a massive thank you to our supporters on Patreon. Patreon is really the only way that this podcast can stay up and running. Really, it's your goodwill and donations that pay for our hosting and our donations to the Wikimedia Foundation, any competitions that we've run, anything that requires some form of fiscal monetary investment. we look to you for aid.
That's the thing. We don't want to run ads on this podcast, and we felt that community support is the best way to do it. And it does allow for community rewards, because we will be very publicly announcing the people that support us in this very podcast in just a moment. But just want to say, as a kind of point of information for everybody, if you are a Top Cat or Top Dog supporter and you are in the Discord, it's actually the Dr. Simon Clark Discord, because it's just everything that I do all in one place. There is now a new label that you can choose for yourself that will distinguish you as either a Top Cat or a Top Dog patron. So go check in your settings. It's in the announcements channel. Is it channels for Discord? I genuinely don't know.
I think it's channels, yeah.
And there'll be information about how to claim it there. That's if you are a Top Cat or Top Dog supporters. What are those supporters, though, Dan? Who are these people?
Well, for my favourite animal of choice, we're going to have to go straight to the top dogs. And the top dogs are Ben McMurtry, Eric Shun, Eric Bolliger, Jay Wright, Kyle Much, Maggie, Marut Vakira Punyawat, Nina Colton, Peter Reed, and Rory Healy.
I, of course, would like to thank the top cats. Those people are, of course, Choco Cat, Colm Mansfield, Dan Hanvey, Devon Hill, Ferdinand Singh, Hans J, Harmin Dutt, Isabella Strowski, Kodzo, Layla Medina, Lewis Watson, Oliver Burkhardt, Oliver Craigie, Omar Miranda, Princess Andromeda, Rents Cook, River Ward, Tapio Kirkinen, and William Humphreys. Thank you so much to those of you who support the show at patreon.com/the Wikicast. You can choose to donate $1 a month for either Team Cat or Team Dog, or you can choose to donate more than $5 a month, $5 a month or more, and you'll be either a Top Cat or a Top Dog, and you will get a shout out in every episode that you support us for, because we love you. We love the people that do donate $1 as well, but there's a lot of those people. And, you know what? I actually, we don't give them enough credit. I'm just going to read out some random Team Cat names from people who are $1 a month cats.
Well, I might do the same. Interestingly, how many Team Cats do you have, Simon?
We have 21 people at $1.
Oh, do you only have 21? Oh, well,
how many do you have?
I have 23.
Oh, you clawed it back a bit. But how many top dogs do you have? Because we have 19.
Oh, look,
cats.
I don't think we need to go into that. I think that's.
I think we do. I actually really think that we do.
We have 100. Oh no, sorry, 10. 10. We have 10.
There we go. You see, cats.
10 of the best people this podcast has to offer.
The best
not
dogs.
Including ourselves.
So automatically worse than cats. Feel free to correct me, guys. If you want to put your financial support for Team Dog, please be my guest at patreon.com/the Wikicast. But just some random thank yous just to shout out to the $1 Team Cats. I'd like to shout out Errol Barnes, who has pledged $1.25. Just to set themselves apart from everybody else.
And has the name of the Weasley's owl, which I like.
Yes, that's nice. I like that.
I'd like to say thank you to Emily Asbrink, because the A of Asbrink has a little circle over the top of it, like a halo, and it's nice.
I'm not sure how you're supposed to pronounce that. That's a Danish thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm actually not sure.
Well, who knows? Emily, if you're listening, tell us. Send us an email.
With you saying your name, and we will play it on the show.
Yeah.
I mean, also, just I'm picking names here at random. I mean, Ruta, Xenia, Keegan Amrine, Hamish Glover, Alicia Williams, Anna Bryan. Thank you so much, everybody, for supporting the show. This is incredibly wonderful.
One of our Team Dogs has the name Simon Donkers, which is brilliant.
Yeah, I recognise that name, Simon Donkers.
That name brings me a heck of a lot of joy. We've got Sarah Cook, we've got Nathan Smith, we've got Georgia D. Buriate. Georgia de Buriate. That's probably not... Babidi poopy. Georgia, send your abusive emails to spongyelectric@gmail.com. I apologise profusely for that.
There we go. If we insult the people who financially support us, more engagement, more emails, more content. We've been missing a trick, Dan. Top lad. Now, I am very excited because we are now coming up to the newly minted Confession Corner.
Yeah, very nice.
And we have had some confessions that have come in.
I need to log into Gmail. Hang on. Let me just access my Google Mail. Oh, look, we've got... look at these confessions. Confessions. Hang on, I'm just putting on my dog collar and I'm pulling on my cassock and surplice. Just doing up all the zips. There we go. Right. Okay. That's all good.
Right.
I'm just going to slide on my episcopal ring. Oh dear.
Hang on. I'm just gonna crack my back in anticipation.
Lovely. Very nice.
There you go. Oh, hang on. Sorry, it's cracking more. Wait, I need to uncrack it in the other direction.
Ooh, there we go.
Okay, I think I'm ready.
I think you should kick us off, Father.
Oh, Father Moore.
Father Simon. It's got to be your first name.
Sorry, Father Daniel. Yes, so you're quite right, Father Daniel.
Father Daniel has to be Irish, hasn't he?
Father Daniel.
Oh, it's lovely to see you, my child.
This whole thing in an Irish
Absolutely not. Because Brian will be furious.
We got an email here from Anonymous. Forgive me, fathers, for I have sinned. I once cheated in a third-year control systems test where 30%,
Very nice.
by looking at someone else's cheat sheet for a constant I had put on mine. I'm now in my final fourth year.
Nice.
And it still haunts me when I set tests. So dear Anonymous, you cheated by looking at someone else's cheat sheet. I suppose that is cheating. It's like second degree cheating.
Father Simon, it's like cheatception. It's like one of them films they show to the youth.
Those films, yes.
Yeah. It's like really shit Graham Norton.
Yes.
Now okay. I think, Father Simon, I think I can hear a knocking at the door.
Wait, we haven't absolved Anonymous yet.
Oh, that's right. I do apologise. That's absolutely awful form. Father Simon, if you'd like to do the honours.
Anonymous, in the name of the Clerk, the Moor, and the Holy Danby, you're hereby absolved of your second degree cheating.
Marvellous. Oh, little tears come into my eye.
Oh.
Yes, my child, enter this den of cleansing.
And sin.
We have a message here from Anonymous. Forgive me, fellows, for I have faltered. You see, when I was around the age of 6 or so, I had a nasty habit of stealing cacti from the supermarket. I don't think we have cacti in this part of Pedantry, which is the county in which we live.
County Pedantry.
County Pedantry, exactly. I distinctly remember many mornings with my mom in the checkout line, where I just so happened to forget to set my plant for payment. My mum would ask me if I'd paid for the plant and I would lie, like a liar.
Oh, that's a sin.
Being that I was 6 and terrible at caring for plants, the demand to replace the fallen foliage was quite high, and this happened several times. Being that I'm nearly 23 years old and I still think of my early years as a thief, I really am in need of an Oprah level.
As a thief.
A tiefling, bard. Level 4. I really am in need of Oprah level absolution. Here's to hoping this absolution can reach across the pond. Yours truly, the Cacti Crook. The Cacti Crook, I mean, come on.
Crook. The Cacti Crook, level 4, tiefling mage. What's in your backpack there? Oh, I got 10 cacti. They're really uncomfortable in me back.
Madam, put the cacti down, for Christ's sake.
Put it down now.
Put that cacti down. Put it down now.
What I would like to just point out is you were terrible at caring for plants. These are literally cacti. Yeah. How do you up caring for a plant that grows in the desert? How bad are you? You have the opposite of green fingers. You have necrophile, like Gul'dan from World of Warcraft. Like when you just touch them, you've sapped your life energy.
Oh gosh!
How are you so bad at caring for cacti? That's the biggest sin here. Oh, no. You were stealing plants worth probably pence. Like
you were stealing cacti and then killing them.
double sin. You know what, Dan? This sounds like quite a prickly issue that we're dealing with here.
Very nice, very nice. Well, the important thing is you've come to the chapel. You've entered the confessional.
You've genuflected.
You've been honest. You've been true. You've genuflected. Bless you.
You've reflected as well, and
the absolution that you so wish is here in the name of. Oh, hang on. Now, how did you remember
what I said?
It was the Moor and the Clerk and the Moor and the Holy Danby.
The Moor, the Clerk, and the Holy Danby.
Okay, in the name of the Moor and the Clerk. There we go. That's it. I bet you feel that. I bet that's a heck of a weight off your mind.
There we go. You see, the cacti crook.
The cacti crook has been absolved.
This is amazing. Is this the best idea we've had in a long, long while?
I think so.
Okay.
And then finally, is that another knock on the door there, Father Daniel?
I think it might be, Simon. Would you pull the curtains aside?
Hello. It's anonymous.
Before you draw back the curtains, Simon, I think you've also got to close your eyes and then draw back the curtains. I close my eyes, drew back the curtains.
What's that from? I don't actually know that reference.
It's Joseph and his Technicolor Dreamcoat, my dude.
Which I've never listened to.
Well,
I'm not a big musicals fan. I'm certainly not a Lloyd Webber fan.
How dare you?
I'm sorry, but look, Anonymous is standing here. Sorry, let me just relay what Anonymous has to say here. Anonymous, I've got that right. Let me just relay that. Sorry, daddies, I've been a bit naughty.
Oh God, oh crumbs.
I generally skip steps when going up a flight of stairs, stepping every other one. I always have a mental...
Not every other one.
Other one. I always have a mental
it.
exercise of counting to see if by the time I get to the top, I land on an odd step or an even step. Sometimes, if the particular staircase lacks an even number, I cheat and combine the count with another nearby uneven flight of stairs and consider the next stair count to be valid.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I never thought I'd say this in the name of this service, but you're a filthy fucking degenerate.
Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou amongst women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Oh my God, it's an absolute psychopath.
We got an odd stare heretic.
It's to the, much like in rugby, it's to the sin bin with you.
Wars were fought in 15th century Europe over lesser heresy.
Get thee to the Catholic skip. Go. Amazing. So this person skips stairs
and then combines stairs to make an even number.
Wow. I mean, that's incredible.
Can I make a confession to you, Dan? I do the same thing where I count how many stairs, and it does irk me if it's not an even number of stairs. Like I will deliberately, if I know that a set of steps has an odd number of stairs, a set of steps, I will deliberately go up by one step to begin with and then do 2 steps at a time, so that I finish with a 2-stepper, as I like to call it.
As it's known in the biz.
Exactly, in the step biz.
Yeah.
I mean, Anonymous here has weak willpower, but what is the number one rule of confession?
You've come to this sacred place. You've entered our chapel. You've asked permission. You've come to the confessional, seeking redemption, and by Christ, redemption ye shall have, my child.
It was a mistake to put this confession booth at the top of such a long flight of stairs.
Yeah, especially when it's not it's not a fucking even number, for Christ's sake.
Anonymous did look rather perturbed through the confession. In the name of the clerk and the Moor and the Holy Danby, you are hereby absolved of your sin, Anonymous. May Christ have mercy on your soul.
Please take a breath mint on the way out and sign the visitor's book.
Leave us a review on TripAdvisor.
If you'd like to, we should add a new tier. We should add a new tier of donation to the Patreon, which is even less than $1 a month, and it's going to a fund to rebuild the chapel roof. Wouldn't that be amazing?
Oh
for just 50, and it's got to be in cents because it's an island. 50 cents a month, and you can help repair the chapel roof.
Oh my God!
That is
well.
I love this. This is brilliant. This is such a good idea.
Please, dear readers, if you would like to confess to something, and if you would like an Oprah-style guaranteed absolution, then please send us an email to spongyelectric@gmail.com. Put confession corner or confession or something in the subject line, and we will anonymize everything that's sent. It could be as serious or as silly as you want, and we will absolve you of your sins, my dear children,
Absolutely.
in the name of the Moor, and the Clerk, and the Holy Danby. In the meantime, though, Dan, we do have some other correspondence to attend to. Actually, do we?
I don't think we do.
Oh, this is an awkward start to this section.
Yeah, no, all the correspondence was in confessions. Well, Simon, what have we learned this week?
Well, Daniel, we've learned that we need better fucking listeners. No, no, this was entirely my fault. We released the episode late because it was meant to be going out on Sunday. I had to escort a Pixel Girl back home on Sunday. We got back late, and then on Monday I was actually recording with the Yogscast all afternoon, which wasn't meant to happen. So the show only went out on Tuesday, and we're recording this late on Wednesday? Is it Wednesday?
It's Wednesday today.
It's Wednesday, my dudes.
Wow, that's peaky.
Yeah, so we haven't had much time for correspondence, but that means that if you would like to write into us at spongyelectric@gmail.com, that can be with a confession, or it can just be thoughts on the show, as we will get to in just a moment. Please do send your thoughts in. So, well, this episode's going to be a bit shorter than normal.
It is. Short but sweet.
Is there anything you want to add? Is there anything we've missed this week?
No, I don't think so. It's been a slow
There was
week.
something that I meant to mention earlier and we just didn't quite get around to. So I said that it was an early day today, right? It was an early start. Which, fuck it, we're just going to put it in this section now. Why not? And I had to get up at 6 to get this train because I was going off to Worcester. And I was super paranoid. This was a work trip. I couldn't afford to miss this train, right? And you know how if you have to get up early, you get paranoid about, oh yeah, but what if I sleep in? Like, what if I miss this alarm? What if I don't get ready in time?
Yeah.
So I got Pixel Girl to set an alarm at 6. I went to sleep really restlessly, and I was just couldn't switch off at all. And I just drifted off to sleep, I think, and then I jolted awake, and I was like, I've got to go get ready. And I immediately left the bedroom and started to get my stuff together. And Pixel Girl was like, what are you doing? And I was like, I've got to go and get this train. And she looks at her phone and was like, it's 1 a.m. I was just so on autopilot that I was literally getting ready for, and it was like totally dark outside. I was like, I'm gonna get ready. And then I went back to sleep and I woke up probably every hour subsequently. And then by the end of the night, I think I was dreaming in computer code. I was convinced that I had to wake up at 6 and then fix the field of view parameter on how my code was working in order for me to be able to catch this train. And then when I actually woke up at 6, because her alarm and the alarm that I set midnight, like some point like 2 or 3 a.m. went off, I was like, oh, I've just got to put my clothes on. Oh, well, this is underwhelming. Yeah. It's like, it's just as well that we live together now, or I would have just left the house at like 1 a.m. Yeah. There we go. So yeah, it's been a very long day. I'm a tired boy, but tell you what, that confession corner has really, really revitalized me, Dan.
Are you perked? Are you perked up?
I'm fully erect right now.
That's good to know.
Mentally.
And on that bombshell.
Did you say bumshell?
Yes.
And on that bombshell. Oh boy, I'm tired. So Daniel, what have we learned today?
Simon, today we've learnt about note-taking.
Oh, holy did
that
we?
Gem, featuring the notes of President Jimmy Carter from his private meeting with Pope John Paul II, October 6, 1979. Fascinating.
Why that photo?
God knows. God knows. We also had my choral piece of the week, which was Kenneth Layton's Collegium Magdalene, which will be added to
your playlist, yeah. And there'll be some more links
and we
as
have
well.
to say a massive thank you to crumbs.
Me? I never thought you'd say. Thank you so much.
No, not you. You can off. The Wikicast had a message from a brilliant how do I see messages? Inbox. Yeah, there you go. It's not that hard, Dan. Come on. How do I?
Oh God, they really hide this stuff.
How do I find it? So I want to say a massive thank you to Sawyer Westbrook, because Sawyer, the legend, has recreated my choral music playlist on Spotify.
Oh, round of applause!
Yeah. So
what a top lad!
This person emailed in earlier this week. Saying, hi guys, I've recreated Dan's playlist on Spotify as requested. Hopefully nobody's beat me to it. I was going to tweet it to you, but figured it might get lost in the fray. Here it is, best Sawyer. Thank you so much. This link will be added to the show notes. So now, whether you're on a whichever fruit-based device you're on, be it Apple or Android or whatever, then you can listen to the music, the songs I'm singing. Perfect. Brilliant.
Listen to the joy that they bring us.
Yeah.
That's the lyrics, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so and yeah, there'll be lots of links actually, because we talked about a few pieces this week. Before, I ranted a bit about Homo Deus, and we talked about reading a bit. And do send in some book recommendations for fiction specifically, and what you'd recommend and why you think I'd enjoy it. To spongeyelectric@gmail.com. We gave a shout out to lots of people in Patreon Corner this week, and then our new favourite section of the show, That was where I was hoping you were going to come in.
Confessions Corner.
There we go. Thanks. Sharp as a whistle. No,
Sharp
no,
as
was
a
it
whistle.
quiz? What's it?
Sharp as a whistle. What are you talking about?
Was it bright as a whistle, sharp as a thistle?
He's not the sharpest tool in the shed.
No, I'm really not.
Tell you what he was.
Boy.
He was looking kind of dumb.
Sounding it as well.
Yeah.
Not damn. And then we had no correspondence because it was entirely my fault. I'm not even going to try and deflect that one. But that's all that we have time for in this week's episode. Don't forget to subscribe to us on your podcasting service of choice. You can like us on Facebook, and if you'd like to see our faces, check out our YouTube channel, Spongy and Electric.
Fiction book recommendations, confessions, and other thoughts on the show can be sent to us at spongyelectric@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you.
Join us again for another tumble down the wiki rabbit hole,
And we'll see you next time.